After nearly 30 years working on brick homes and masonry around Wisconsin, I can tell you something that still frustrates me today. A lot of the really expensive repairs I end up doing started as very small problems. A crack here, an open joint there, a little water getting into the wrong place. And when those things get ignored for a few years, they can turn into major structural repairs that cost thousands of dollars. So today I want to slow down and talk to you about 3 masonry problems I see all the time that homeowners should really pay attention to. If you own a brick home, chimney, porch, or concrete around your house, these are worth knowing. Problem 1, open mortar joints. The first thing I see all the time is open or deteriorated mortar joints. Mortar is the material between the brick, block, or stone. Over time it naturally wears out. But once those joints start opening up, water gets behind the masonry, and water is the #1 enemy of masonry. A really common place I see this is under windowsills. Sometimes the lintel above the window rusts and starts swelling. Sometimes the window itself leaks. Either way, moisture gets behind the brick and starts eating away at the structure from the inside. What homeowners eventually notice is step cracking or loose brick below the window. By that point, the damage has usually been happening for years. Chimneys are another big one. If you can see birds flying in and out of your chimney, you don't have a bird problem, you have a masonry problem. That means mortar joints have opened up enough that animals can get inside. At that point, water is already getting into the chimney and slowly breaking it down. A small repointing repair early on might fix something like that, but when it's ignored long enough, you end up rebuilding sections of the chimney or the wall. Problem 2, failed expansion joints. The second issue I see all the time is failed expansion joints. Concrete and masonry expand and contract with temperature changes. So when something like a porch, driveway, or sidewalk meets your house, there's usually an expansion joint there. That joint is meant to allow movement and keep water out. But when that joint opens up and gets ignored, water starts getting underneath the concrete or masonry. And once water gets underneath something, you usually don't see the damage happening. It's happening below the surface. Then winter hits, everything freezes, expands, and starts moving. That's when you start seeing things like lifted sidewalks, shifting porches, or cracks along the foundation. I've seen cases where water getting into one of these joints eventually pushed an entire garage wall inward. And that kind of repair is not small. Sometimes all it would have taken was sealing that joint early. But once water keeps getting underneath year after year, the damage grows. Problem number 3, bad drainage. The third problem is poor drainage around masonry. Masonry almost never fails for no reason. Usually water is being pushed into it from somewhere. I see this with gutters that dump water right next to the house, downspouts that don't extend far enough away, concrete that's pitched towards the house instead of away from it, or areas where water pools up next to the brick, block, or stone. Low-lying areas where water sits, like around your porch, these can be major problems. When water keeps soaking the same area over and over again, it eventually finds its way into the structure. Once it's inside, freeze and thaw starts doing damage. You might start seeing cracking brick, shifting porches, or foundation problems. And by the time that damage shows up, the water has usually been working on that structure for years. Sometimes the fix is simple. Regrading an area, redirecting water, replacing a small section of concrete. But when it's ignored long enough, those small problems turn into major structural repairs. The reason I point these things out is because most masonry damage starts small. If you walk around your house a couple times a year and pay attention to these areas, you can catch problems early. And catching them early can save you thousands of dollars later. Masonry is incredibly strong, but water is stronger if it's ignored long enough. These are things I see constantly working on homes around Southeastern Wisconsin. And the earlier problems are caught, the easier they are to fix.